Welcome to Slovenia, a gorgeous and often overlooked country located in Central Europe, bordering Italy, Austria, Hungary, and Croatia. And despite being a smaller country, it packs a big punch. Here you'll find jaw-dropping mountain ranges, pristine lakes, vibrant blue rivers, charming cities and towns, and even a sliver of Adriatic coastline. And for the next 12 days, we're going to be experiencing as much of it as we can on the ultimate van life road trip. We've been traveling throughout North America in our self-converted van for 6 years now, and it has become our favorite way to road trip. So we couldn't think of a better way to explore this country than by renting a camper van.
We arrived here in Slovenia a couple days ago, and yesterday we spent the day exploring Ljubljana, the country's capital and largest city. We had planned to film a video, but the weather was pretty rough and we were exhausted from our long travel day to get here, so we decided to take it easy and explore on our own, and it was a super fun day trying some delicious Slovenian foods, visiting the castle, and just wandering around the streets. It is such a beautiful city and we highly recommend spending at least a day here. But this morning we're off to pick up our camper van and kick off our big road trip around the country. Okay, here we go! So cool, driving a camper van in another country.
We have wanted to rent a camper van in another country for years, so we are so excited, and we're hoping to make this a thing that we do in countries where van life is possible.
We booked this kind of last minute, so the only issue is it's a manual, which I can drive a manual. It's just been a few years, so it was a little, I felt a little anxious beforehand, but now we've driven around a few minutes and I've got it figured out. It's just like riding a bike, right?
But besides the whole manual thing, this van is super nice, and we'll give you the full tour in a bit. But first, we need to stock up on some groceries.
So grocery shopping was a success. It's always fun going to grocery stores in different countries, but it is a little stressful because everything's obviously in a different language and you can't do a whole lot of planning before you get in there because you just don't know what they're gonna have until you get in there.
So there are a couple important things to know about driving in Slovenia. First, to drive here as Americans, we had to get an international driver's permit in addition to our regular driver's licenses. We got ours at AAA for about $20 each, and they last for a year, so make sure to look into it if you're gonna drive here or any other country around the world. Also, all drivers in Slovenia need a vignette to drive many of the roads, which is basically their toll system here. But thankfully, this van came with a vignette and they told us it's paid for the entire year, so there's nothing that we have to do.
Alright, we made it to our first campsite of the road trip, but before we show you where we're staying, we're going to give you a quick tour of our home on wheels.
This is a Robetta Helios camper van, which we rented from Slovenia Camper, which has a variety of vans and RVs to choose from, and it is smaller than our van that we have back home, but they have really utilized this space well. It has all of the amenities of our van, but just with a slightly different layout. And starting in the front, we have the cab area, which there's really nothing that special about the cab area, but there are a few things we wanted to mention. First, we have a backup camera, which is very important when you're driving a larger vehicle. And then also, you might notice down here this big bulky thing, and this is actually an air conditioner. It's separate from the AC that runs while the van is on. This one is solely used to cool the rest of the van down when we're parked. However, you do have to have it plugged into power to use it, which we don't have tonight, but thankfully it is cool enough out so we don't need it. And one thing we are loving about this van is all of the natural light. We have a bunch of windows and 3 skylights, all of which open up, so we have great circulation in here, which is really nice because there's actually not a fan in the ceiling. And then one thing that's so cool about the windows, including the ones up here in the cab, is that they have built-in blackout curtains. You just pull them up and then put them back down. You don't have to put up actual covers like we have to in our van, And they have built-in bug nets in all the windows that are in the back of the van, which is just so convenient. And right behind the cab is our seating area, which has this table, which actually does expand if you need more table space, and you can move it if you need to get it out of the way. We have this permanent bench seat right here, which seats 2 people, but one thing that this van has that our van does not have are swivel seats. Both of the front seats can swivel around, so that means Adam can sit in the driver's seat, flip himself around, and then we can enjoy a nice meal here together and get to look into each other's eyes while we eat. Another thing we are loving about this van is all of the storage space. We have so many different cabinets, both in the living area and the kitchen, above the bed. We also have this storage area above the cab, so we can store everything that we brought with us on this trip in this van, which is one thing we love about van life, is that we're basically living in this. So we don't have to unpack, repack as we move around the country. We just get to have everything in its own spot as we explore. And on the other side of the seating area, we have our kitchen, which has a massive fridge. There's a fridge up here. This also opens up and is a fridge down here. And then we have a freezer up here. There's also this thing, which we have no idea what it's for. And we asked them, what is this for? And they said, we also have no idea. So I don't know. It's kind of like our art piece now. Maybe find things that fit in these holes. I'm not really sure.
Looks like we need to win a trophy to put in.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm like, are we trying to collect something? If you know, please tell us, because I'm going to wonder for the next 12 days what the heck this is for and why it wasn't a better use of space. But one really good use of space in the kitchen is this counter area, because you can utilize this whole counter to chop up veggies or prepare food, but then when it's time to cook, you just open these up and you have our propane stove, and then you also have a sink right here. But I just love that you're able to cover them so you can just maximize the counter space as much as possible. And on this wall, we have a couple of our light switches as well as some outlets. We have a USB outlet as well as a traditional outlet. And one of our biggest questions before renting this van was what the power situation was going to be like. Our van back home has a ton of solar panels and other different methods that we can get power, but this van only has batteries. It has a battery in the front of the van and a battery in the back of the van, and they can charge while you're moving as well as when you're plugged in, but that is it. So if it's sunny out, we're not getting any extra power from the sun. So we're kind of nervous because we're very used to our van back home and just how we can utilize the power, how much power we have, just what takes a lot of power versus not. And it's taken years to really get comfortable with it, and we really don't know. Like, we aren't plugged in tonight. We could have been, but we decided not to. And maybe we'll run out of power tomorrow. I'm not really sure. But we do have this panel up here that gives us some data. It tells us the voltage of the front battery as well as the back battery. But it does not tell us the percentage of the battery, which is normally how we figure out how much we have left. So I don't know. We're just gonna hope for the best. But it does tell us the percentage of our water tanks, both the fresh water as well as the gray water. So that's very helpful. And this screen right here, if you turn it on, is how we control our heater and our hot water heater. Not only for hot water in the sink, but also for our shower, because yes, we have a shower in this van. Behind this sliding door is our bathroom. This bathroom is actually bigger than the bathroom in our van, but similar to our van bathroom, it is a wet bath. So what that basically means is that you shower, go to the bathroom, do everything in this small waterproof room. Everything in here can get wet, but you just close the door and just trap yourself in here. In this bathroom, we have a giant mirror, which I'm very grateful for. We have a sink. We have a second sink in this van, which is crazy to me. Then right here, this is our shower. You just pull this thing out and scrub-a-dub-dub. And this throne that I'm sitting on is our cassette toilet. In our van, we have a compost toilet, which is very easy to maintain and dump, but this is a whole new ball game for us. How this works is that you open it up, whoa, splash, oh, that's gross, and then you do your business down the hole, and then you flush it, which I don't think our water's on right now, so I can't really, oh, it is on right now, so it flushes everything down, and then you close it up, and then it all just makes soup together. There's like a chemical in there, there's water in there, and then when it fills up, we get the honors of dumping it.
It's gonna smell, it's not gonna be very fun, and it's gonna be very gross, and I already know I'm the one that's stuck doing it.
And last but not least, we have our bed, which is probably one of the biggest differences between our van and this van. In our van, we have this convertible dining area that turns into our bed at night, but this is a permanent bed. Underneath, we have a garage, which is where we're storing some chairs and our suitcases and other just kind of important items like the charger cord for the van. But then up top, we have this comfy mattress, which is actually a lot more comfortable than I thought it would be. And this is where we sleep at night. And I have yet to try to get up here. Do I climb?
Get a running start.
Oh. Also, we will be sleeping this direction. Normally we sleep this direction. Adam already tested and he perfectly fits this direction.
I might fit on the bed, but I'm worried about knocking my head on here like I just did trying to get in here. Ow, that hurt.
But that's about it for the van. We do have an awning outside, but it's raining, so we're not gonna set that up right now, but hopefully we will get to sit under it at some point. We have decided to name our van Robbie, so if you hear us talking about Robbie, Robbie is the van, and we cannot wait for some fun adventures with Robbie.
But how we're camping here in Slovenia is going to be a little bit different than how we camp in the US. We typically like to camp for free on public land, but wild camping is not allowed here in Slovenia. So we're gonna be paying to camp every night, and tonight we're staying at Sunrise Hill, which has some amazing views of the surrounding hills, even in the fog and rain. They have both campsites and these cool little cabins, and the fee includes access to showers, toilets, and a shared kitchen. But since we have our own kitchen, we're gonna be whipping up dinner in here tonight. So we're trying to keep our meals super simple here in the van, and on tonight's menu we've got some marinated pork, sauteed veggies, and some rice.
And to go with dinner, we're making ourselves a special little drink with LMNT. Y'all have heard us rave about LMNT many times now, but for those of you unfamiliar, LMNT is an electrolyte drink mix that helps us stay hydrated and replenish the electrolytes that we lose while being active and traveling. Each one of these packets includes a science-backed ratio of sodium, potassium, and magnesium plus 0 sugar. Normally, we just pour it into a water bottle and shake it all up, but they actually have a bunch of super fun recipes on their website, from cocktails to smoothies, hot drinks, popsicles, and even savory dishes. So tonight we decided to make up our own mocktail recipe with items that we found at the grocery store, and we're calling it the Salty Razzle Dazzle. All right, first step, we are going to mash up all of these berries. Next, I'm going to add half of a raspberry LMNT packet. Stir it up a little bit, and then add some of this carbonated water. Ooh! And you have to do this very, very slowly because it reacts with the LMNT and makes it extremely fizzy, and it will overflow, I know from experience. And then I'm gonna add a few more berries to the top, squirt in some lemon, and you have a salty Razzle Dazzle. If you want to try LMNT for the first time or just want to try out more flavors, LMNT is offering our viewers a free sample pack with any order, which includes 2 packets of each of their 4 most popular flavors. To get yours, head to drinklmnt.com/a+k or scan the QR code on the screen. Cheers!
That's super good. For dessert, we have potica, which we picked up from a bakery yesterday in Ljubljana. It's a Slovenian dessert that's popular around the holidays. It's a rolled dough that's filled with a variety of fillings, and these are the cute little mini versions of it. So walnut and poppy seed are the more traditional fillings, but we decided to get cinnamon and raspberry. It's a light and fluffy little cake bite that has just a hint of raspberry in there.
The smell of these has been torturing us. Every time we opened up the cabinet they were in, we just got a nose full of the scent. We've been so excited to try them. Reminds me a lot of like a cinnamon bun. Very doughy, with just like a nice layer of cinnamon in there.
Come on. Ow. That's what I did earlier.
Oh man. I wonder how many times that's gonna happen. It feels good to be sleeping in a van again. We're just missing our little furry friend. Night.
With the word sunrise in the name of the campground, we figured we better get up and go watch the sunrise.
Slovenia is home to just under 47 kilometers of coastline on the Adriatic Sea, sandwiched between Italy and Croatia. And while there are a few towns you can visit along the Slovenian coast, today we're heading to Piran.
Google Maps has been taking us the goofiest ways. We haven't spent much time on highways. It's been taking us on these tiny, narrow, mountainous roads that go through these little villages. It's definitely been an adventure driving so far.
I will say though, these roads have taken us more through the countryside and through areas we probably would not have visited otherwise, and it has been so beautiful and idyllic. Finding parking in Piran turned out to be a pretty stressful experience. Old Town Piran does not allow vehicles, so you have to park out and then walk in. And the problem is most of the parking lots do not allow camper vans. We drove all over trying to find a spot, but we either were not allowed, they were full, or we didn't fit in the parking spot, but we finally found one that we are allowed to park at, and now we have about a 40-minute walk into the town. Piran is a beautiful medieval town that is famous for its Venetian architecture, as it was controlled by the Venetians for nearly 5 centuries. And here in Tartini Square, you can see some of the best examples of this, including the Venetian house with its archways, ornate details, and balcony. When we were having our parking debacle, I was kind of second guessing coming here in the van, but just after a few minutes of walking around, I am so glad that we did.
It seriously feels like we have just been transported to Italy. And actually the town speaks both Slovene and Italian, and many of the signs have both languages on there. There's some signs over there about the history. I'd love to read it, but it's only in Slovenian and Italian, no English. This town is so picturesque. There's a beautiful photo or view around every single corner.
The streets are like one giant maze, similar to what we experienced in Venice. There are so many alleyways and nooks to explore, and to see the streets from above, we're gonna head to the Church of St. George. The Church of St. George towers over Piran and is named after the town's patron saint, who legend says saved Piran when it was hit by a violent storm. And for €3, you can climb around 146 steps to the top of the bell tower.
These are cool steps.
Oh my gosh, that was scary.
Right in
I'm trying to get up these uneven steps, trying not to fall, and then that happened. Oh. This view is crazy. You just have this sea of orange roofs contrasted against the sea, which is crystal clear and vibrantly blue. It is stunning. You have the mountains in Italy off in the distance, the green hills. Wow. Oh my God.
We couldn't come to the coast and not get seafood, so we came to this cool little spot tucked down a side road and got a massive seafood platter. So it came with grilled sea bass and 3 types of calamari. We have fried, grilled, and then stuffed and grilled. And then there's also a bunch of grilled veggies underneath and then a huge handful of French fries. I'm gonna go for these juicy looking fellas here. That calamari tastes so fresh. It is not chewy at all. Perfectly grilled on the outside. Has a good salty flavor from the prosciutto and the cheese.
This garlic sauce smells so good. Oh yeah, you're right. The calamari is not chewy at all. It's very bouncy, but extremely tender. It also doesn't really have a fishy flavor either.
Catherine's too scared to try the tentacly guy. Whoa.
I'm making him try that one.
Oh, it looks so good. I'm gonna dip it in the garlic sauce too. Oh, that is so garlicky. So good.
This sea bass just falls apart. Mmm. The skin is nice and salty, but the fish is so flaky. I think I got a bone though, to be honest. This was probably one of the meals in Slovenia that I have been least excited about, only because seafood isn't my favorite of all the cuisines, but this is actually really solid. We couldn't be this close to Italy and not get gelato, so we came to Mercy Gelato, and it was bigger than this, but it's melting rapidly and it's so good, so I'm just devouring it. We never need an excuse to have gelato, but we're using Italy as our excuse today. Besides incredible gelato, fresh seafood, glistening waters, and colorful architecture, Piran is also home to ancient walls, which were built in various stages from the 7th century to the 15th century as the town grew. Today you can find 7 preserved city gates, towers, and even walk up on a section of the walls.
Debated between doing the tower viewpoint or the wall viewpoint. We ultimately decided to do both, and I am so glad that we did because they give you completely different views. The tower is better for a view down into town, whereas the wall viewpoint gives you a more panoramic view of the whole town plus all the ocean all around you.
One of our goals for today was to get in the water, and our original plan was to go to this really cool looking beach called Moon Bay, but after reading the parking reviews a bit more after our issue this morning, I saw a couple that said they got a ticket for parking a camper van, so we decided to X that plan and instead just go to a beach area close to where we parked the van.
That feels so good. That feels so good. I know we're not in the Dead Sea or anything, but it's really easy to float. You don't even have to really try that hard.
Oh, it's really salty. I haven't been in the ocean in so long.
Yeah.
All right, now it's time to go find camp for the night.
One thing that's common here in Slovenia, and I believe in some other European countries as well, are overnight motorhome parking lots. They do have a fee, but they often include quite a few amenities, and the spot that we're at tonight is €10 for 24 hours and includes power hookups, access to water, a dump station, and trash. And I also just learned that they have free Wi-Fi here. This place is awesome! We are on the side of the road, so it's not going to be the quietest spot, but for €10 a night, I feel like this is an absolute steal, and I wish there was something like this in the US.
And since we have power here and can fill up our water, we're gonna use this as a chance to take our first shower in the van. Just gonna get the hot water going. Turn it on.
It says the hot water is ready, so let's test it out. That's not hot. Maybe it's supposed to go to the right. Oh, yes! It's hot! Woo!
Nice. Shower's
It's
ready.
shower time. It's so nice. It's hot, and it's so much bigger than our shower. That was the best shower I have ever taken in a moving vehicle. Sorry to our van brisket, but I think I enjoy showering with Robbie better.
Slovenia is home to over 14,000 caves, and this morning we're heading to Postojna Cave, which is not only the most popular cave, but one of the most popular sites in all of Slovenia.
to get into the cave. We get to ride a train. Oh, I'm so excited. Whoa, oh my gosh. This is going kind of fast. I feel like I'm at Disney World. This is so cool.
This would just be cool enough just with the train ride.
This is 100 times cooler than I thought it would be.
Man, yeah.
Oh, so much fun. I can't stop smiling.
What? This is unreal.
The Postojna cave stretches 24 kilometers with a maximum depth of 120 meters, which is equivalent to a 36-story building. It was created over millions of years by the Pitka River dissolving the limestone in the region's karst plateau, and it's still changing today. As we walked around, we got to see all kinds of formations, from curtains to stalactites and stalagmites, which are slowly but surely growing over time. Plus different rooms like the spaghetti chamber, white chamber, and red chamber. And we got to learn about the different life that calls the cave home. While there are around 115 different living species down here, the most notable is the blind cave salamander, which we actually got to see inside an aquarium. After spending about an hour exploring the different levels of the cave, the tour concludes with something a bit unexpected: the world's only cave post office. We've sent mail from Santa's house in Finland, and now we're sending it from the world's only underground post office.
We've been to a lot of caves in our travels, but this one was definitely one of the most impressive. Even the smaller caverns were just like, what? And then the big ones were just really mind-blowing. And then the train ride, they just made it such a fun experience. And there is another popular cave we wanted to visit that has a more wild feeling and is less touristy, but we just didn't have time to do both. But you can't go wrong with doing just this one.
But now we're heading to another one of the most popular sites here in Slovenia, the Predjama Castle, a unique castle that is located just up the road from the cave. You can get a combo ticket to do both, and we suggest doing the cave first because you have to pick a time slot, whereas for the castle, you can just show up whenever you want.
Oh, wow. That is so cool.
This is the Predjama Castle, the largest cave castle in the world. This 800-year-old castle is perched in the middle of a 123-meter high cliff and is unlike any castle we have ever seen. They have an audio guide you can download so you can learn about the castle as you walk through. So we got our AirPods in, and we're gonna learn some things.
The Predjama Castle was originally constructed by the Patriarch of Aquileia, but in the 15th century it came under the ownership of a knight named Razzle, who was known for his rebellious stand against the Habsburgs, using the castle's hidden tunnels to withstand sieges. Unfortunately, Razzle died by a shot from a cannon while on the toilet, which is a pretty crappy way to go if you ask us. After his death in 1484, the castle changed hands many times and underwent several reconstructions, with its current appearance completed in the 16th century. As you walk around the castle, you not only get beautiful views of the surrounding valley, but you can also see a wide variety of features and rooms. From the different defense mechanisms used, the torture chamber, a dining room, kitchen, armory and attic, and even a bell that you can ring. So if you make a sincere wish from the bottom of your heart and ring this bell, it will come true. That was loud. But the best part, in our opinion, is towards the end of the route.
Whoa! Oh my gosh. Similar to caves, we've been to a lot of castles on our travels, but this one tops them all. I just loved seeing how the cave and nature were merged together, and I'm really glad that we had the audio guide because while there were some signs around, not every single room had signs, and we learned so much. And the lady was just really nice to listen to. before we hit the road, we're grabbing a quick lunch at a pizza spot in Postojna, and my mouth is watering right now. We got 2 different dishes, and the first is their beef pizza, which has a white sauce, fior di latte, some shaved beef, mushrooms, and a mushroom cream sauce, radicchio, basil, mustard seeds, and sesame. It is unlike any pizza that we have ever ordered before. And then we also got their gnocchi with slow roasted beef, which has this beef brisket, roasted carrots, and creamy gorgonzola.
They don't slice it here, so you've got to use a fork and knife. Doesn't matter to me as long as it gets in my mouth.
That means you can make as large or as small of a piece as you want.
That's right,
and
yeah,
I guess
look.
Adam's going really small. Oh my gosh.
Look at my tiny little pizza.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah. Creamy, meaty, good tangy flavor from the mustard. And then this crust is unreal. Nice and chewy, crunchy. Mamma mia.
This might be the most delicious looking bowl I've ever seen. I'm also really, really hungry right now. It is so savory. It just has this really just rich, deep, savory flavor. The gnocchi are just like little pillows.
I knew it. You were gonna say it.
And then I'm not totally sure what's on top, but it's a little crunchy and crispy. And the beef is extremely just fall apart tender. And that gorgonzola just adds the perfect tangy flavor.
So we saw that apple pie was the most mentioned item in the reviews, so we figured we had to give it a shot, and it's probably the most unique apple pie we have ever seen. It has a wonton pie crust, apples, vanilla, pistachio, and of course, ice cream on top.
I can hear it crunching from across the table.
Might be the best apple pie I've ever had. Not just the most unique, maybe the best. I love the crunch in there. There's a little bit of like a salty and sweet mix flavor profile going on in this. Incredibly good.
Yeah, best apple pie of my entire life. Honestly, this is one of the best meals I've had in a really long time.
We just fueled up the van for the first time, and now we have a 2-hour drive to the mountains. We have made it onto the crazy, windy, switchback, mountainous roads. It's gorgeous, but it's kind of some intense driving.
It's also really narrow.
Yeah, and the road is really narrow, and people like to drive quicker than we do out here. And to make things even more challenging, it's hard to drive this in a manual, especially because some of these switchbacks, they get super steep.
I've got to say that Adam has been crushing it with the manual driving and all the mountainous driving. We did not expect the drive today to be as windy as it was, and he has done an excellent job. I don't know how to drive a stick shift, so I'm very grateful that he does.
And I've only stalled out twice on the entire trip so far. Got a long way to go though. Slovenia has 3 mountain ranges, the Julian Alps, the Karavanks, and the Kamnik-Savinja Alps. We'll be visiting the Julian Alps towards the end of our trip, but for the next couple days we're going to explore the Kamnik-Savinja Alps.
This scenery is insane. I am on cloud 9 right now. You just have this half circle of these epic mountains, and then the valleys down below and all the trees, and then these rolling green hills which are illuminated right now as the sun's setting, just making them this vibrant green, that the light beams just going through the peaks and valleys. This is one of the areas I've been most excited for in Slovenia, and it has completely lived up, if not exceeded, my expectations.
Even get dinner up here. They have a vending machine that sells some local farm products. All around here are just a bunch of subsistence farms, can't say that word. They got some pate, there's some non-alcoholic radlers, I'm getting one of those. There's some bacon, there's a fruit juice, sausages, more sausages, that's yogurt, sausages. You got your whole dinner covered here if you didn't have a plan when you came up here.
Our campsite tonight is not only in a super beautiful spot, but it also has the cutest animals. It's got alpacas, goats, and a little farm dog just came and said hi to us.
I think it smelled us cooking dinner.
He said, "What you cooking?" Today we're going to explore the Logar Valley, which is just down the road from our campground. It's said to be one of the most beautiful alpine glacial valleys in all of Europe. And to get around, we rented e-bikes from our campground. It's a little rainy today. We're already pretty soaked, even just a few minutes down the road. So we'll see how today goes.
When we first started riding this morning and I saw how foggy it was outside, I was a little worried that we'd get to the valley and we wouldn't be able to see anything. But even though it is raining and it is foggy, you can still perfectly see the mountains, and the fog is just adding this eerie, moody vibe. It's moving so quickly through the trees. This is one of the most magical valleys I have ever been in.
I am very glad that these are e-bikes because the road got very steep at one point. We were both in turbo mode, really pushing it.
But we have made it to the end of the road and we're basically at the base of the mountains that you can see from the front of the valley. And from here you can hike to Slap Rinka, which, fun fact, slap means waterfall in Slovene. This waterfall is just so tall and thin and wispy, and my favorite part is that when the wind comes, it's just so delicate that it just kind of flies in the air like a big cloud of mist. Hike to the base of the waterfall is pretty short, but on the AllTrails map, it looks like you can keep going to get to the top of the waterfall. So we're gonna give it a shot, although it looks like it's going to be very steep.
Wow. We are on top of the waterfall.
And you can even walk across the top of it right here. It's a little rickety and bouncy. Before we head back down, we made a quick stop at the Eagle's Nest, which is this wooden hut that is just perched alongside of this cliff overlooking the waterfall. They serve a variety of drinks here, which you can enjoy while sitting and looking at the waterfall. Unfortunately, despite Google Maps saying they would be open right now, they are not open, so we're off to find a drink and some food somewhere else instead.
Throughout the valley, there are a handful of mountain huts that all have amazing views of the mountains. You can either stay overnight at them or just grab a meal, so we came to one to try a couple traditional Slovenian dishes. And first we have a buckwheat dish that's called adovi shkanci. That translates to buckwheat mush or spoon bread. It's typically served with fried pork cracklings on top, and it's commonly eaten with sour milk or soups. And we got some mushroom soup to go with it. So I'm guessing how this works. You take a spoonful of this, and then you get a spoonful of that. It's so hot. The soup is really hot. Soup has really good flavor. And this doesn't have a ton of flavor though, but it just kind of adds some more texture to the soup.
Every time I've ever seen a photo of this dish, I always think it's just a bowl of ground beef. It's the same color, and it's just a crumbly texture, just like ground beef. I'm gonna try not to make the same mistake Adam did. That kind of just absorbs the flavor of the soup. Oh my gosh. This beauty is strukli, which is a rolled dumpling that's filled with a variety of fillings, and you can either get it savory or sweet. This one has cottage cheese inside, berries on top, and then these mounds of cream and powdered sugar. We had this in Ljubljana the other day and really loved it, and I'm very excited for this. With the cottage cheese inside, it kind of looks like scrambled eggs. And it's served hot, which is not really what I expected before we came here. I assumed it'd be a colder dessert, but it is steaming right now. Oh my gosh. I love the berries on top. They just add this little kind of a slight tanginess, but also sweetness and like burst of juiciness.
Oh,
So good.
Now we're heading over to the neighboring valley, Matkov Kot, because we hear there's a farm that sells goat milk ice cream.
I don't think it gets much better than this. I have homemade ice cream, freshly made coffee, an insane view around us. It's not raining, and there are tons of cute animals here. What an amazing last stop. I got the grandma strudel flavor, and I kind of already forgot what she said it was, but I do know it has this like apple like jam on top. Was not expecting that when I opened it. Oh, yeah, it's cheese ice cream. Oh my gosh. It tastes like I'm just eating cold cream cheese with apple. Wow.
And I got cheesecake with strawberries, and it has that strawberry jam on top. Oh yeah, creamy and tart and sweet, and so like soft and fluffy ice cream.
And even though it's goat milk, it doesn't really taste very goaty at all.
Today we're heading to Lake Bled, which is about a 2-hour drive away, but instead of taking the most direct route, we decided to take what we think will be the more scenic route through the Jezersko Valley.
So to get to the Jezersko Valley, we actually have to drive into Austria. So I am standing in Austria right now. And what is crazy is that you actually don't go through any border crossing. You just drive on in. And that's because both countries are part of the Schengen area, which is a collection of 29 European countries where you can freely go between borders.
Can confirm the views in Austria are pretty dang epic.
This is not our first time in Austria though. We went to Germany a couple winters ago and we actually got to walk into Austria from the top of the Zugspitze, and we spent a day in Innsbruck, which was so beautiful, but there is still so much more of the country that we need to come back and see. This scenery is crazy.
This road is crazy, but the scenery is amazing.
Yeah, once again, we picked the worst route for driving a large manual vehicle.
I've gotten the hang of it now.
Yeah.
I feel pretty good with it.
Yeah.
All right, and now we're back in Slovenia.
One of our favorite things about van life is that you can just pull over and make a meal anywhere you want, and we just found this amazing pull-out overlooking the Jezersko Valley that we thought would be the perfect spot to enjoy coffee and breakfast.
We're finally getting to try our vending machine sausage. It has a really good mix of fat and leaner meat, and there's a little bit of seasoning in there, and then an awesome smoked flavor. We have made it to Lake Bled, one of the most famous destinations in the entire country, and that's gonna end part 1 of our road trip. We still have so much more to experience here in Slovenia, and next up, we're gonna spend a couple days here at the lake to see its iconic views and try its famous cake.